Well, hey there, it's Jenny Wolek with the Wolek Group, Keller Williams Realty in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I have had so much fun over the years getting to learn and grow, and especially getting to learn and grow from other great agents. And that's why I put back together my series called Agent Success Secrets. And today I'm excited to have you learn so much good stuff from my friend Tara Allen. Tara, thanks for joining me, and thanks for sharing all your wisdom and years of experience. So I'm going to pass it on over to you. Just tell us who you are, where you are, and a little bit about you and how you got into this fun business of real estate.
Yeah, hi Jenny. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I've been in real estate now for about 11 years. I started out, Jenny, and this market today kind of reminds me of how I started out a little bit.
Right.
I had to hunt when I first started. This last couple of years, you haven't had to do a lot of hunting. It's kind of just all come to you, don't you think?
I think so. It's been a very interesting market. And that's what's fun about being in the business for so many years, like we have. As we've had to learn the different skills of the different markets and then maybe re-tap into it again whenever it comes back around. It's like fashion, right? Like
Yes.
always come back around to a different market. So first off, just tell everybody why you're a valid person to share on this topic of production and success in real estate. I mean, you've sold a few houses over the years.
Yeah. So Jenny, my first year in the business, I came in, I was reading a book, Think Big and Kick Ass by Donald Trump. And I just found out that I wasn't going to get 4th of July off of work. And I was sick of working for someone else and them tapping my commission income to wherever they thought how much money I should make. And I said, well, I can think big and kick ass. So I quit my job on Monday. I went to real estate school and I called Keller Williams, signed up. I was the 12th or 13th agent to sign at Keller Williams as it was a brand new office. I didn't have a database, and people told me, you're crazy for getting into real estate. You're never going to make more money. I was making like $80,000 a year. And you're crazy. And I said, no, I think I can make 100,000. So came in, took Ignite via Zoom, and that's when I learned about Mega Camp and Bold. So I cashed out a 401k, about $6,000, 6,500, and I got on a plane, headed to Austin, Texas, and asked all the Mega agents all the questions I could think of. It was there where I learned about Bold. So since I didn't have a database, I thought I better do that because it was sink or swim for me. I needed to either get a job or figure it out real quick as I didn't have a savings. And through Bold, people say, yeah, I took Bold. And I'm like, yeah, but did you take Bold? Like, did you do Bold? You took Bold, but did you do Bold?
Big
And
difference.
I did. I drove to Minneapolis with one other guy from the office, Larry, and every day we meet at the office at 4 a.m. We drive 4 hours to Minneapolis through the winter. And I would a lot of weeks get over 100 contacts every week. And it was all cold prospecting, Jenny. I mean, we're talking for sale by owners, expired listings, door knocking, cold calling. Give me a phone book, I'll call, right? Had an Easter egg hunt for a neighborhood, did a wedding bridal booth thing. So at the end, I ended up winning regional rookie of the year and also international rookie of the year. So I got to do the little walk across the stage and
So cool.
all the fun things at family reunion. And all while 3 months later, I found out I was pregnant with my first kid, which, whoops, that wasn't exactly planned at that time. And so I really had to pick why, right? First one to show up to the office at 7 a.m., last one to leave. And I just went and did the things, Jenny. And that's what we have to do today. You just got to go do the things.
Well, Tara, what I heard you mention are yes, you had commitment. I mean, driving 4 hours to Bold. I thought I was pretty cool driving 2 hours and 3 hours to Bold out of town, but you beat me there with the 4 hours. That's and in the cold winter. Gosh, that's commitment. But you were doing whatever it takes because you knew that you needed to succeed. And so a lot of times real estate agents, and maybe some out there that may watch this or you may know of some, you're just kind of playing the game of real estate. Like you said, did you do Bold or did you just take Bold? So are they just doing real estate? Or are they really, really, I mean, what is the different levels here? And how do you coach your team around how to make it work nowadays?
Well, it starts with just showing up, I think, Jenny. A lot of times it's so hard. And it's funny when you talk to people that want to come in real estate, like, oh yeah, I want that freedom. And I'm like, okay, yep, freedom, right? Well, here's the deal is the master key to freedom is discipline. And not a lot of people are disciplined to do the job. And I'm sorry, but if you go work at an 8 to 5 job, you are there at 8 and you will leave at 5, right? And people have no problem doing that. And the opportunity here is endless, right? It's just, do you have the self-discipline to show up every day and do the job?
Yeah.
It's like all these books behind me, right? I've read almost 500 books now, I think, in the last 10 years. And they can be smart books on the shelf, or do you go and implement the things, right? So I think it comes down to really narrowing your focus on where you're at and what it is you want. And then what's the plan to get there and who's holding you accountable to get there.
So Tara, you mentioned your early days. You were, rookie of the year. Yay, that's awesome. Well, you could go some different directions after achieving that. I've seen many agents come in just blazing, tearing it up. And then it's like, whoo, they lose it. They fade out. They burn out. And so how have you kept your consistency? Because you can just share, what your production looked like in the last year. It's a lot of families. How many homes did you sell last year?
Yeah, I mean, we went from, I sold 66 homes my first year in the business up to 276 homes. And really just worked on every year leveraging my 80%. What is it that, I should be focusing on, and then getting rid of the rest. So you can solely focus on developing other people, because the highest success in business for me is helping others achieve their goals. And that's what I'm passionate about. And so I think that it comes down to how many, even the families that you're serving, right? Like, this is their biggest asset. So like, how are you adding value to the people in your world, and how are you growing? That's what this business comes down to.
So I know that your database is your largest source of business. And I think everyone should really strive for that to be the case. That means you love on your people. So touch on just a couple ways that you have, a huge percentage of your business coming from people that know you, trust you, and like you. How does that keep happening year after year?
Yeah, it's funny. What you focus on expands, right?
Ah.
We started focusing on this years ago. 88% of our business is past clients, referrals, database, those types of things. And so, Jenny, we really do have a pretty good system around our database. We do quite a few client events, reverse fold 100s. Like, every year we have a parking lot party where we have bouncy houses, we hire live music, we have a food truck, we have the SCSU ice cream truck. We have, beanbag boards and kids face painting and things like that. So that's one of my favorite events. We have our pictures with Santa coming up. So the kids come in the office. We have like cookie decorating. They get their picture with Santa. They write a letter to the North Pole. It's just so much fun. And those are the relationship building things that people like, right? So this business, you can do it a million different ways. The key is, are you talking to enough people? Are you adding enough value? And do they think of you when they think of real estate? So I think that that's a huge part of what we're really big on, just working on adding the value to our clients. So when they think of real estate, they think of us. And so we're constantly staying in touch, birthday cards, home anniversary cards, just any kind of way that we can think of to make them feel special, right? Am I important?
You mentioned that, you sold a lot of houses in the past years, and you couldn't have done that alone. So you've been focused on leveraging yourself. That's through technology or people or systems or tools. So how have you leveraged with people in your world, and then training and coaching those, say, agents on your team to think and do the things that you've done in order to achieve this success? I mean, there has to be great training involved, as well as accountability. And are they all in on that with your culture?
Yeah, I mean, I tell people when they come here, I'm like, if you don't like growth, and you don't like reading, and you don't like rah-rah, like, you're not going to be a good fit here, because you're going to hate me. You will hate me. My husband always jokes, like, if for a living, if all you had to do was go to training events full time, that's what you do. I'm like, absolutely, because that's what fills my bucket, right? And the people don't. As a leader, you have to keep growing so that you can help your people keep growing. And because if they quit growing, then they're going to go elsewhere to grow, right? And I've learned that lesson the hard way throughout the years too. I mean, we've sold over 1,800 homes. We have built. We went from a smaller team to a little bigger team. I mean, we have about 10 agents now. We've got some like a legacy agent who just refers business as a team. We've come up with different solutions to what helps the people live their best life. And through that, with our admin, with our success team, it comes down to, what mastermind should they be on? What coaching? I became a MAPS coach for about 3.5 years throughout this last 11 years of training, because I think becoming a good coach and helping your people get what they want is the most important quality if you want to be a leader. Now, being a leader isn't all that, some people say, I want to build a team. And then they find out what it actually takes. And they're like, what is this? So as a leader, like, you have to continually grow. Like, what is your growth plan? And then what are your people's growth plan? And what are you doing to help them live their best life? It always comes back to that for me, because if somebody is living their best life, they're making the money they want, they're feeling loved with their relationships, they are, fulfilling their hobbies with their side things, they're feeling productive at their job, they're building their wealth. Like, that's a win, 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 win. And that's always the goal of our organization.
So I know that besides database, you have other lead sources, believe it or not. After 88%, there are a few things left over. So what would you say is the next top source that somebody could, for low cost, put into action right away?
That would be, when last year or the year before, I looked at our business, I'm like, you guys, this is all database, which means we're not doing a lot of lead generating necessarily, but we are logging on our database, which is the number one thing you should do, hands down, right? Yep. Also, what are you doing about the low hanging fruit of, like, for sale banners? They have a sign in the yard. They want to sell their house, right? Expired listings, those kind of went away for a little bit. They're starting to come back. So you can become an expired listing pro just by going on YouTube, right? Like, I remember actually at the beginning, between Bold Ignite, I would stay up to like 3 a.m. watching YouTube videos on like what other agents said, right? You can become a master a million different ways. And it doesn't cost anything to Google a YouTube or go into KW University or whatnot. So be resourceful and figure out what it is that gives you energy. And the thing is you don't know what gives you energy or what you're good at until you at least go try it. And then you might find out, okay, that's not my jam, but this is. So you need to find that source. You can circle prospect. There's so many different things that you can do that is low cost. And of course, there's internet leads out there. Some of those are more costly. And here's one thing I will say, Jenny, when you're an agent, I think what I find too, a lot of people don't invest back in their business. They just go spend other money. And look, I've made those financial decisions too, where I went from the Jeep to the Tahoe to the Denali. I went from the first house to the second house to the third house. And looking back, I'm like, maybe I should have done that a little bit differently. And yet, you know what? We all just do what we do and we figure it out. And I would tell you to make sure, like slow down. Don't, just because you made some money doesn't mean it's guaranteed to come later. So make sure that you have 3 to 6 months reserves. Like, make sure, like, Gary Keller always does a great job of building these like steps. It's kind of a visual, right? And this first step, 3 to 6 months reserves, you have that, right? Are you taking 30 30, 40, or however you want to do it, 30% your savings, 30% you can spend, 40% in, make sure your taxes, investments, and your business. There's the thing called, you can go to MREA and you can look at the budget model and you can look at what percentages should you be doing. And if you treat your paychecks like a business, you'll start to build one. If you just keep spending your money, you're going to keep being in a hamster wheel.
Yes. And that's when you start losing it, because that's where I was. And I always use the hamster wheel reference because I knew there was more in me. I knew that I had bigger goals for my business. I'd see you successful agents on stage and I'd want to be you. But what was happening, I was getting trapped, and I was getting trapped because I didn't know why I was doing this business. And so therefore I kept getting stuck in the transactions rather than building and working on my business because I didn't see a future goal for myself or my business. So Tara, you just put together the most beautiful annual planner that seems to be your jam that you've used in the past. So share with me what that is. And then those that are watching, we'll share a link so they can get a copy as well.
Yeah, Jenny, what I found is I'm all about all the tools, all the business plans. And it's like you get all these different random pieces from different places, and then you find what's important to you. And so then you've got 50 different pieces of paper. They become smart plans on a shelf, or I should say somewhere in your Google Drive, because I've got a big Google Drive. Actually one of my agents just found this sticker. I've got a spreadsheet for that because I am a spreadsheet guru. So what happened, Jenny, is one day I was like, oh my gosh, and this was like 5 years ago. I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to take all my smart sheets that I use and I'm going to staple them together. That way they're all in one pack and then I can carry this with me. And then I was like, well, why don't I just make my own planner and put all of the things that are important in one book? And so I created a planner that every year we have we basically fill these out during our team planning advance. And in here, Jenny, I mean, I have everything from your GPS to your 411, which by the way, Gary Keller and Jay approved me to use this. So be careful. Don't go try to make your own and copyright, because you can get in trouble for that. But he has given me permission to share this, and you can go in and tweak some of the pages. But every month we have like our March reflection of like, did you accomplish your goals? Are you on track? Is it still important? But then at the beginning, most importantly, there's things like every area of your life, you're ranking them constantly. And 1 through 10, how do I feel in my personal life, my business, my job? And then we're reevaluating what is it that we need to focus on to get that area closer to a 10, right? And then we're also listing out like, what are my big rocks for the year and why are those important to me? What's the intention behind that goal? So you can connect your head to your heart. And then your someday goal setting now, like there's everything in here, you guys. It's awesome. We've got some of the reminders for framework. So like the daily energy plan in the MREA, right? Are you meditating and praying, eating right, exercise, those types of things. 4 things of productivity, one thing, like that's one of my favorites, because generally if somebody's off goal or they're feeling off, I can usually point to one of these, and it's one of these. A lot of time it's inability to say no,
Yes.
right? And then they erase their things from the calendar and they don't replace it. I'm like, well, interesting, because that's what you said you would need to do in order to hit your goal. So you're not interested in hitting your goal anymore, right? Like it's that constant self-reflection. And that's what this book allows you to do. So I would love for you to send it to your local printer, and you just 3-ring bind, print it there, and use this as your foundation for 2024 and have a successful year.
Well, and accountability isn't scary or hard because it's based on your goals. And so as the leader and coach of your team, you just care about them achieving the things they said were important to them.
Well, that's the thing. Back in the day, when I was starting to build a team, I'm like, okay, everyone has to sell this many houses. And I realized real quick, it doesn't work that way.
No, it does not.
And then it's like, okay, Jenny, how much money do you want to make? What are the goals you want to accomplish? And then I just help you accomplish those, because they're not my goals, they're their goals. Right. So yeah, this planner allows you to stay connected with what was important to them. There's also a worksheet that's like, what gives you energy? What's your morning routine? What mentors and subjects are you studying? And this is just good reminders to keep a good balance in your life and keep yourself moving forward.
Well, it's my jam, and like my heart, I just thumbed through it and I was like, I love this. I love this. I love this. You've just taken all the things, like you said, our sticky notes, our random pieces of paper with our goals and our plans all over the place, and just put it into one place. So it's so helpful and we appreciate you. So it becomes very obvious that you care about people succeeding and having their personal growth and business growth as well. Tara, what are some final takeaways that you want to share with people that might be watching?
I would say just show up.
That's it.
Just show up. Do the job, and don't be discouraged. Like, don't let you didn't get a listing. So what? Go to the next one. That was probably a blessing in disguise. There was a silver lining. You just got to talk to enough people. You need to know what to say. Like I said, there's plenty of ways you can learn. Hire a coach or get a partner that you're holding each other accountable, however that works for you, and think big and take the time to really vision your life, figure out your values, just slow down a little bit and implement that planning time every week in your calendar. Like every week, Sundays are a lot of the times when agents will sit down and look at their 401. Did I get my things done? And then reevaluate to make their priorities for the next week, right? So slow down and do that, because the weeks go fast, the months go fast, and then your year's done.
Yeah. And you go, oops, what happened?
Yeah. Oh, maybe next year. Oh, maybe next year.
Yeah.
But when you're on your deathbed and you're looking back, don't be the person that says, I wish I would have.
Yeah.
Do it now.
Let's do it now. So tell everybody how they can best find you and follow you.
Yeah, find me on Facebook, Tara Allen. I'm in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Or you can email me at Tara@AllenEdge if you have questions about the planner, if I can help you in any way. And yeah, I hope to connect with you at some point. I'm always at all the KW events, so let's get together.
Absolutely. Well, I can't wait to see you, but I do appreciate you and look forward to a big hug next time.
Thanks, Jenny. Appreciate you.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.